Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Late on a Friday night, Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo, and Ryan Herrera with you as the Cubs lose to the Yankees mercifully 2-1 in 13 innings.
Mercifully.
I mean, I didn't think that game, we had so much to talk about before the game that seems like it was 5 days ago.
Yeah.
13 innings. I can't believe it took that long for somebody to score a run, starting with the ghost runner at second base in extra innings.
Yeah, I know we're ready to go home and everything because it's Friday, but I was actually getting more entertained the longer it went just because I was like, when's the next time we're going to see this happen again? So, yeah, I'm pretty numb to whatever. That game was just dumb. You remember that Cubs-Sox game where like those last like 3 innings were dumb? That's how this game was. It was just dumb. Like the Cubs had so many chances to win. 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position, 1 for 37 for the entire game, both teams combined. Just
that's outrageously bad.
Yeah,
and the Yankees aren't bad.
Yeah, the Yankees are actually good. Like I don't know. It is what it is, but you know, there were some positive takeaways from it, but you know, not from the offensive side.
Heyward.
Chris Morel on base streak.
Everybody that complained about Heyward before the game, he's the only guy that did anything offensively.
Baseball has a funny way of doing that, you know. What'd you say, Ryan?
Hayward made them eat their words, apparently.
Made me eat my words. Shit, I sat on here and
freaking complained.
Morel was good. Let's get to the other stuff, though, because now you've got a starting rotation that is all kinds of banged up.
Yeah.
Wade Miley's already been on the IL twice this season. He's barely pitched. You thought you're turning him for good prospects at the end of the season.
Right.
I mean, it sure looks like he's headed that way again. Comes out with the same shoulder soreness
as the reason he was
reason that he'd been out.
The IL, right?
So,
yeah.
You know, at Stroman's on the 15-day IL, shoulder soreness.
Kyle Hendricks hasn't
pitched since June 1st.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what's going on there. They just keep saying he's working on some stuff. What is that code for? If it was an injury, why wouldn't they just say his arm or elbow or his back's bothering him? What is he's working on some stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
So your top 3 starters all have something going on. 2 at least have shoulder injuries.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good, Bob.
I don't know. I mean, this is going to force the Cubs to have to recall Killian if there's any spin zone to it. You know what I mean? Like,
look for your spin zones, Cody.
Right. I mean, like you were talking to me the other day, Ryan, about how the Cubs are going to trade Miley no matter what. Well, it's like he hasn't been able to stay on the field. Like no team's going to want him. And I mean, I get just moving him for literally anything, but like you were hoping coming in the year that you're at least going to get something valuable for him, and it's just not looking like it. Like like Herb Lawrence says, the best ability is availability. He has not been available. I feel honestly, if he would have been available, I think the Cubs season's at least 5 more wins in there. Not fully because of him, but like he would have added more depth starting pitching. Whatever, doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that they've really missed him. Just for eating innings.
Yeah, and speaking of Herb, by the way, White Sox Tom says, who cares? Where's the White Sox postgame? Cubs not doing anything this season.
Yeah, they don't work on Fridays.
Well, they're not here today because Tony La Russa intentionally walked him with 2 strikes, so they decided not to come back.
Yeah.
Zing. Tom.
Zing.
Got him.
They also just don't work
like
on
them
Fridays,
apples.
So, bye, Tom. If you want to stick around, you know.
He'll be back.
Well, going back to Miley real quick.
Yeah.
Going back to Miley real quick. So he went on this IL with the left shoulder strain. So I don't know, like the last time, left shoulder strain. I don't know what the difference between a strain and soreness is. I'm not like a shoulderologist, but I don't know. I don't know if just soreness sounds any better or any worse than strain. I guess in my very limited medical experience, soreness I don't know. All we know is that he left the game early after 3 innings, felt something. He went out to try to throw a couple pitches, obviously felt something, and you kind of wait to hear more news on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume a strain leads to soreness, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be the same thing, and he
Right.
just didn't feel right. And again, the guy didn't even start the season with the team.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's starting to look more and more like the Reds knew something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I'm too cynical at this point, but like that's the way it is kind of looking.
Just didn't come off like that because they literally let everyone go.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
You're right. It could just be
And he
one
was
of those
coming off
baseball
and he
things.
was coming off a really nice season. I don't know. Maybe you're right.
But the Strom, I mean, when your top 3 starters all have some sort of issue going on, and really sort of have, like, Stroman's coming off the COVID thing and has not been right.
Mm-hmm.
Hendricks has been up and down, and we're not sure what's good. We just know working on some stuff. I mean, let's be honest. Keegan Thompson's been as reliable as anybody they have.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Keegan Thompson, I mean, with those 3 out, you look at the rotation, you're like, well, Keegan Thompson, number 1. Like, it's not, again, they got Schwarmer tomorrow. And then I don't off the top of my head.
We don't know yet, I don't think.
I think it's still TBD, TBA, whatever you want to call it.
Again, if they put Miley back on the IL, I think they're gonna have to call Killian back up, man. Like unless there's someone else, like if they want him to continue to work on things or whatever in Iowa, like Alex Cohen tweeted tonight, he only went 2 or 3 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs or whatever. But according to him, from what he was watching, he claims that the Cubs had him working on certain things.
Well, how long did Mills he just pitched that inning, right?
Just that inning, yeah.
You could use Mills as like a starter.
If you didn't pitch him tomorrow, he could probably go Sunday.
He could probably do a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
obviously, it was the like worst case scenario that you had because Mills is the only one that pitched Tuesday out of the bullpen. No one else had pitched since Sunday. You got all these guys on like 5 days rest, and then you got to pitch all 8 in the bullpen in the first game. Now, Daniel Norris threw like 15 pitches. Mills is around the same play. Like, we've seen Ross use Ross multiple, like on back-to-back days multiple times. So it's like they're not going to not have these guys available tomorrow. But it's like the worst case scenario to have to use your entire bullpen in this game.
Norris threw 15, Ross threw 17, Martin threw 10, Givens 10, Robertson 28, Wick 18, Hughes 32, and Mills 13.
13 pitches. I mean, he could pitch again. By the way, Hughes was amazing. I can't believe that Hughes. They gave the ball to Hughes for 2 innings and said they're going to start with a runner at second. It's the Yankees. You're on the road. Go ahead and shut him out for 2 innings.
Yeah.
Like, that's a heck of an effort.
Yeah, no, he was – if there's any really a real silver lining in tonight, I mean, the bullpen in general was great. But
it was good.
We're talking about guys who are going to be here next year, like Ross, solid. Then you get down there, Wick, 18 pitches, made pitches when he needed to. And Hughes, 32, those 2 clean innings with the guy on second base in both of them. Like, mighty impressive. Other silver linings. Trade value went up for the rest of the bullpen, the guys that I didn't mention.
Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson
Showcased
especially.
right for the Yankees specifically.
Yeah. And, Givens and Martin as well. I know Norris gave up the homer, but he also, was able to give up the homer. So, I don't know. Like, this game was dumb. I don't know how else to say it. I
saw Cody, I saw you tweet that it was like one of those David Robertson trade value up like tweets. Usually when you do that, bad things happen. But he was good, and everyone else was good. I'm not even gonna
tweet anything. The opposite happens.
Yeah, that's true too.
Someone yelled at me because I did the classic. I am once again asking for 10th inning magic. No one realizes that I'm basically mimicking the Bernie Sanders meme where he's asking for money or whatever it is that originates from. It's like no one's actually gonna do this. It's part of the joke, but some people get it, some people don't. It is what it is.
I mean, before the game, they sent Rivas and Rucker to Iowa. They might need to bring Rucker back.
Yeah, he's another one.
They turn around before you even get there.
Yeah. It's like Ryan said, just like the worst scenario because you actually were able to give those guys some rest, and then here you are using them all here. So
yeah, it was the kind of game, and like you said, Cody, like was it 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position? It was
0 for 18, 1 for 37 for the entire game, both teams combined. Like
it should not have gotten to that level. It just should not have gotten to the point where the entire bullpen was used. And obviously Miley going out after 3 innings didn't help with that. But I'm like looking at it. I'm like, okay, this guy's pitched. I'm like, they don't have any more guys in the bullpen. Like if they had, like if Mills had gotten out of it, he would have had to go probably till the end of the game at some point. Like it was a lot.
For sure he would have. I mean, it was the longest. What did they say in the broadcast? The longest ghost runner game the Cubs have ever played. I mean, you just don't see. And usually if it goes longer, it's because both teams are scoring. Like each team's getting a run and it continues. You don't ever see it where it's nobody can go.
Mm-hmm. That what you're talking about, Cody? Oh, it went away.
That's
like that.
Bernie Sanders on
yeah. It's
on
just
the
like
chat.
the Bernie Sanders memes always crack me up, and this is one that like is an all-timer in my opinion. But
tomorrow we'll go in, we'll add like a CHGO logo. We'll change it once again, asking for run support in extra innings.
A shutdown
once
inning.
again asking for 9th inning magic.
Let's do who you got because Jack R is chomping at the bit there. He's just begging for us to say that he picked Heyward.
Yeah.
He's like, Grandpa Stuckey, Jay Hay, player of the game. I called it.
Wonder where you got that idea.
Maybe it's you didn't actually do it tonight, Joey.
Well, I didn't say it out loud, but in the past I've declared that he is my perpetual pick every night. So
we'll give you a half a point.
Half a point. I think if anything, I should get 2 points for the Heyward win.
For just picking him. For
yeah, well, maybe even for participating and picking Heyward.
Between Ryan, Cody, and I, Cody wins tonight. So now he's 7-6-5, right?
Yes.
7-6-5.
Because he had Morel, and Morel was, again, the one guy that, other than Heyward, that did something.
Yeah.
Something.
Got on base 3 times tonight. He had a double, a walk, and I think his first hit was a single. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, And we haven't really talked about why the Cubs lost outside of the fact that just leaving runners all over the bases all night. But like I thought in that 10th inning they had a really good shot to like score right away and maybe steal the game because you had Morel on second base to start the 10th, which means you had Contreras and Happ coming up. What's Contreras do? He hits it extremely hard, right on the ground and right into a glove, and then they get him out pretty quickly. Like he hit it 112 miles per hour, and of course he hit it to the left side of the diamond when you got a guy on second, so he can't advance to third. So, that's just kind of how it happened. Like there's other reasons, but that was like the
was
prime
doubled
position.
Off second on a line drive
on that Ortega line drive.
Another reason why that 10th inning went so poorly. Cody tweeted right before it. Cody said, bulk of the Cubs order coming up with Morel on second base. Couldn't ask for a better situation with the ghost runner rule. There you go.
You can't, though. Like, I would take that situation every time with this roster. You know what I mean?
100%. But it's like when someone's throwing a no-hitter. You can't just say it. You can't say it because then either you sound like, okay, like that was supposed to happen, or you sound like you just jinxed him and it doesn't happen.
I'm just going to stop tweeting what should happen. Or situations that I think should happen, or be happy about.
Right.
Actually, I should just self-loathe more than I already do. So
yeah, maybe might help.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help at all.
It does not help. I promise.
Jack on the chat, I hear you. What a play by Wisdom in the 11th inning. Wisdom. That was an unbelievable grab.
That was nice, yeah.
And the analogy of saying it looked like a goalkeeper
that was kind of like
World Cup is exactly what it looked like.
Right. And that was kind of the gods giving the Cubs one there.
Yeah.
So
I was looking up Rizzo stuff tonight because it was, his first game against the Cubs. There were some good comments. And I was trying to find a comparison for him. And as I'm going through the stats, I start realizing that Patrick Wisdom is a pretty close comparison this season. Rizzo, 14 homers. Wisdom, 12. 39 RBI for Rizzo, 31 for Wisdom. The strikeouts are the big difference, 75 to 41. Wisdom striking out way more. OPS plus for Wisdom, 116, 130 for Rizzo. On base percentage, 319 for Rizzo, 305 for Wisdom. Like, very similar offensive players. Like, a lot of swing and miss for both guys. Both have power. Some of Rizzo is definitely the short porch.
Oh, for sure.
You're right.
For sure.
At least
and
a few home runs.
That's why, like, a lot of fans that are, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd take Anthony Rizzo back on the roster in a second, but I don't think that the Cubs are missing him in a way because of essentially just straight because of production. He's definitely had a good, like, he's had good offensive numbers because of the new ballpark. Remember, every year he struggled in April with the Cubs.
Yeah.
Every year. And he would eventually get it going as it got warmer. But I don't know. Like, tonight, he went 0 for tonight. Like, I think we saw a lot of what we saw when in his last 2 years with the Cubs, which is 2020 and last year. We saw a lot of the same in this game.
I mean, thought
the Cubs gave him the opportunity to really just give us the old Rizzo revenge game because
I thought it was coming twice.
They walked Judge twice to get to him.
Which was the right move.
And it was the right baseball move, but I know that if Rizzo would have walked it off, the chat would just be going livid about David Ross
Yeah, they would.
right now, even though it was the right baseball
100%
move.
the right move. Isaac says, I'd rather have Patrick Wisdom, sadly. I don't know that that's true, but he's certainly less expensive.
Yeah.
And they play different positions. I mean, really, you're comparing
You're getting really
Wisdom and
good
Bryant.
defense, and, he hits a lot of homers. Ever since the big knob has come into play, he struck out less.
I don't know if I would say I'd rather have Wisdom, but I'd rather have Wisdom plus Alcantara that they got from the Rizzo trade.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying I don't want Rizzo, like I don't want him on this roster, but like if he was on the roster, how much better would he be than what we've already seen from Schwindel and Wisdom? I don't know. And you're going to be paying him a lot more. So, from that perspective alone, it's kind of a way for me to look at it differently.
I wonder how many Cubs fans were feeling like Jack on the chat tonight. He wanted Rizzo to walk it off. It would have been cool. How many Cubs fans out there do you think when Rizzo came up with a runner at second and a chance to win it twice, how many Cubs fans were actually rooting for the Cubs to lose?
I'd say like maybe 25%. You had him for who you got.
And I was trying to get out of here a half hour earlier too, but that's beside the point. Actually, an hour earlier.
Yeah. Listen, like, I love Riz, and he's always going to have a place in my heart, but I'm never going to cheer for the other team against the Cubs. I'm just never going to be able to do it. I'm sorry.
Ever?
No.
But
Unless
it could have been 5 a.m. Cody would have still been upset if the Cubs blew that, which they did. But
Cody
I'm not
says
necessarily like the Cubs lost, so I'm like a little bitter, but like I'm not pissed like I am, like I have been before, because like that game was dumb. Like that was just like the Cubs-Sox game that we talked about. It was dumb. Like I was mad at that game because the Cubs should have won that game, but the Cubs the Cubs shouldn't have won tonight. The Yankees are way better than them. They were huge dogs tonight. The fact that they took the game into extras was impressive. To me, this game was just kind of like, again, it was dumb. I didn't have any feeling about it. I was just hoping it'd be a competitive game.
But what if Rizzo would have won it?
We would have been
because I think Brendan and some of the guys were like really worried that he was going to crush the Cubs in this game.
Listen, if Rizzo would have won it and based off how the Cubs did things in the extra innings, yeah, I probably would have been a little bit more pissed off, because it's just like another like scar or cut into the heart of us who are trying to just get over the past. The people who are rooting for Rizzo tonight are just people who are not over the past yet. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Or trying to get home a little bit earlier.
Or trying to get home a little early. Hey, and that's fine too. That's fine too, Stucky. I totally get where you're coming from. But again,
Cody,
what?
Cody, you said You said you never bet against, or you said you never root against the Cubs, but you do bet against them. So what's
Yes,
the difference?
I have bet against the Cubs before. I have bet against the Cubs before.
That's a great point, Ryan.
Yeah,
Which is
I have
worse,
done that.
Really?
betting against them or cheering against them? So a little part of you, when
Listen,
that
man,
wager's down, when
you-
that wager's against them, just a little piece of you, Cody, the financial piece of you is rooting against them,
No, he's not rooting against them.
it's a
He's
good
just
hedge.
Right. He's hedging his emotions.
It's a good hedge.
which is rooting against.
I disagree. I think betting against your team it goes against like your heart. You said you don't bet with your heart, but
Well, it's not like
I don't
I'm
think-
doing it
I-
every game.
But Ryan, have you ever cheered against one of your teams? I'm not going to say the Cubs because you're in the press box, but like you ever cheered against the Bears or the Bulls in any way, shape, or form where you're like, if the Bulls would have lost 5 more games here, we might have a shot at the number 1 pick. I'm telling you right now, I was one of those guys. I wanted them to lose those games.
Hell yeah.
no, because as soon as they got Derrick Rose, they got the first overall pick with like a 1.7% chance. I knew the lottery didn't mean anything and they could win it, being barely missing the playoffs. So it didn't matter.
I don't know.
No,
that year they should have been choking. They could have had Luka Doncic maybe.
Speaking of the Bulls, I did make a lot of money on points betting against the Bulls this year, like in the playoffs especially.
So there you go.
It was a hedge, and it was also just smart betting because the Bulls were definitely dunzo going into the playoffs.
Nope.
So
Can't do it.
Isaac says, if they were good, I'd say it's weird, but they suck. Make money off them.
I can't even believe you guys are giving shit to Cody for betting against the Cubs occasionally. Like, he's the one who picked them to win 87 games. I'm not.
Can't do it.
thank you, Joey.
If anybody's got the benefit of the doubt when it comes to rooting for this team through thick and thin.
That means he's hedging like every night.
Yeah.
No, Jack R
He's not-
watches the bet show
'Cause he's so emotionally
I bet
invested.
on the Cubs more than I should. Jack R says
he
Cody
does
probably
say,
bets
yeah.
the Cubs to win too often. I do. I definitely do, and that's why tonight I didn't bet on the game at all because I needed a break.
And you've stopped doing no run first inning.
And I stopped doing no run first inning because they like lead baseball in
The
like
worst.
first inning runs. Like I had to stop. The only thing I've bet on the Cubs this week has been Chris Morel 2+ bases, total bases or whatever it's called.
There you go.
There it is. I knew it was coming, yeah.
Just bringing the bet show and the Cub show together. Look at us.
Speaking of bets, what was your bet tonight?
Warriors,
basketball, right?
Warriors +4.
Woo, sweating that one out.
Jack R's in the comments. He's telling me he said something. What did he say? He said something about how
Said they're the favorites to win it now.
He said,
Warriors
Are you ready to admit you were wrong about the Celtics?"
Oh, yeah. He said, Cody, it's never too late to admit you were wrong about the Celtics. No, I said Celtics in 7, baby. I took the Warriors tonight because I think Celtics in 7 is tied 2-2. So, yeah, Jack, take that. Anyway, on PointsBet, made the bet, opened up my favorite app this morning, placed it right away. It was a beautiful thing. It's something that I'm like I'm addicted to doing, but not in a bad way. I'm just really addicted to opening the app. Anyway, gambling problem, we'll get to that.
Call 1-800.
Anyway, the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, Live NBA Same-Game Parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Again, NBA Finals for Game 4. The series is almost over. Is it only, 3 games left? So get in on that. You can combine your favorite bets anytime during the game, and you can even boost your live same-game parlays. And again, if you've been under a rock, you might not know that online sign-up is now available in Illinois. It has been for like 3 months. It's a beautiful thing. You can just download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Luke does it. Ryan does it. I do it every day. Not download the app because I already have the app, but I open the app every day. And if Luke can do it, everyone here can. We all know how bad he is with technology. So signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with Points bet, gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. I do not need to call. I don't
No.
make bad, or I don't make too many bets. I just, I love to open the app and look at the lines.
Here's how I know you're doing okay on the bets. You got another pair of new Jordans on tonight. Like every other day, you're walking in with new Jordans. So the bets can't be going that poorly on points bet.
No, not really.
You got the mint and the blue today.
Yeah, this is the summer shoe of 2022 for me. So
The mint chip bottom sole.
yeah,
Summer shoe 2022.
That's it, apparently, yeah.
something like that.
You know what else is taking off summer 2022?
Is it Athletic Greens?
No, I got to tell you about Owen, a
Oh, it's
100%
Owen.
That was my
plant-based
guess.
protein shake that gives you nutrition, that it will work as hard as you do, and the products are free of artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy, easily digestible. You know how I heard about it?
Justin Fields.
QB1, Justin Fields, when he's not getting ready for a big breakout season with the Bears, he's over at Wrigley Field
Mashing dingers.
taking out taters.
That too.
Owen and CHGO have partnered up, and you can get this awesome offer, 20% off your first purchase at liveowen.com. That's LIVEOWYN.com with the code CHGO20. Join me, QB1 Justin Fields, and try Owen. Only what you need. Cody likes the vanilla.
The vanilla is really good. I do enjoy it.
Have you tried the strawberry?
No,
Because it's strawberry shake right now.
they need to send more to the office because I didn't get to try all the flavors.
Owen, please send strawberry
Owen,
and chocolate.
I
to the
like
office
vanilla.
immediately.
You seem like a great brand. Will invest if you send me more. Thank you.
Jack, Justin Fields, 2022 homers, 1. Jason Heyward, 1. We had to update that stat.
Yeah, I'd update it.
So the big news before the game was all of the different roster moves. And we touched on it a lot in pregame, but let's do it one more time and get it out of our system.
One more time.
Because I was thinking this game was going to be long enough that Frazier might actually pass through waivers and the Cubs would have a chance at him again. Clint Frazier, DFA'd. I still think it's one of the stranger moves by the Cubs in a long time.
Strange is putting it nice, Luke.
I mean, 45 at-bats.
45 at
No,
bats.
45 plate appearances, 37 at-bats is all he got in a Cubs uniform. How could you see enough there to be like, yep, DFA?
There isn't. Like, they didn't see enough. On pregame, I had a huge rant. If you want to go watch that, you can. And Jason Heyward, he it was like he hurt everyone. He took it all personally. He was the Jordan meme tonight. But it still doesn't take away that, yes, Clint Frazier didn't really get an opportunity here, and that sucks because it would now be very Cubs if he went to another team and, found a home. Or at least just showed that he could be productive for a team. So, I don't know. Like, with where this team is going, with where this, like, the position players are, like, you look at this roster and it's all but certain that Contreras is on his way out. So, if they trade him, you got Morel, you got Schwindel and Wisdom probably. Horner. Madrigal's going to be here, whatever.
Well, he's got a groin injury now,
Yeah.
so he's probably going back to the injured list.
Perhaps. But anyway, Ortega's on his way out, probably at the deadline. There's just, to me, there's more. There would have been more opportunity for Frazier later in the year, at least. To just give up on him now here at the beginning of June, it just doesn't make sense to me.
But Ryan, he was the high ceiling guy, right? Like, of all the guys they brought in, all the experiments, all of the exploring options for finding a diamond in the rough, the guy with the highest ceiling was probably Frazier.
Yeah,
That's what I don't
we
get.
We talked about his pedigree as a first-round pick. Still young, 27. I mean, it was just, if you were going to take a chance on someone, it was a cheap contract too. Like, it wasn't you didn't have to break the bank for him. But just to see if you got something in a guy who could actually contribute, maybe not even in his prime technically, right? Or even at the beginning of it. So, we said it on the pre-show a lot. It just didn't make sense. There was a few, there's other routes that people have thrown out there that the Cubs could have gone. Obviously, they chose this one. And then just to clarify, anyone that's wondering about like the DFA and what the process. So they have 7 days. So they DFA'd him within 7 days. The player has to be traded or placed on irrevocable outright waivers. If he's claimed off waivers, he goes to that team, yada, yada, yada. If he's not, he could be sent outright to the minor leagues or released. However, players with more than 3 years of major league service time or who have been previously outrighted may reject the outright assignment in favor of free agency. Clint Frazier has over 3 years of service time. So if he decides, or if he makes it through waivers and then they try to send him to the minors, he has the ability to basically ask for his release. Reject the outright assignment, go to free agency and sign with whoever. So all in all, that's kind of, I think that's the end of the Clint Frazier experiment in Chicago. I guess there's always a chance, and you can't say there's not, that he doesn't end up in AAA, but it's just, it's very weird, very just, I see it on Twitter. Everyone's trying to, grasp at straws, trying to rationalize what it is, and no one really can. And I'm sitting here too. I'm like, despite what's kind of gone out there, that Ross talked about pregame with reporters up there in New York, I just don't think we've gotten a clear answer on why this is the route they took. Besides, we needed to open a spot on the roster, and I don't think that's a good enough answer.
I like Isaac's comment. He says he was one of the most exciting dudes they brought in, the void that filled our Carlos Correa loving hearts.
Yeah, I mean that might be a little much, but it is strange because there were other options they could have used,
or they could have just optioned him.
There were other guys they could have sent away and been done with, and I just asked before the game if Frazier could have taken at bats from Heyward. David Ross said no. Jay Hay will get the right-handed at bats versus righties, and again, Jason Heyward has been playing better. To me, this isn't even a Heyward discussion. It is because they're both outfielders, and he was getting playing time over Frazier. But there were other people that could have been sent out. VR could have been gone. Simmons could have been gone. I guess Ortega that you think are going to be able to trade, which is looking a little more and more likely. But there were other guys you could have sent out. And another theory was that, Heyward may get DFA'd when Suzuki comes back. I don't think so. I just don't think so. I don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I get not DFAing Ortega. I get not DFAing even someone like Simmons because of the defense. But VR would have been my decision if you're going to keep Heyward.
Who would have been picked off second?
I don't know, but it wouldn't have been
doubled off second tonight.
Wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
him.
that definitely didn't help.
Yeah,
that definitely didn't help the people sentiments that want VR DFA'd. Seeing him get picked off right there was not.
Yeah,
it's not helpful.
That's another thing too about tonight's game. Just the base running. It's 2 or 3 times tonight they got thrown out on the base paths. It's a consistent thing.
And Morel got away with one, right?
Yeah,
Morel got away with one at first. It sure looked like he was out, and that he thought he was out, and that they just didn't have the right video.
Yeah.
To overturn the call. If it had been done the other way, I think he'd have been called out.
It was very, 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 very close. Yeah. But, I think we said if he had been called out and the Cubs challenged it, it wouldn't have been changed. It was that close.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah,
so are we making too much, or is Twitter making too much of Frazier being DFA'd? Because, it is sort of crazy that this roster built up of question marks.
Yeah.
People are mad when each guy goes out, when in reality, most of these guys are not going to be part of the future.
I think it's justified in a way of if the Cubs aren't going to be in contention and we're looking for young guys who could potentially be part of the next team, I think it's justified that Cubs Twitter is pissed, or wherever you're at and you're a Cubs fan and you hear this news and you're pissed. Because, again, he was young and he had the first-round pedigree. there were plenty of guys they could have just dropped. I mean, someone threw out Daniel Norris. I think they might be able to trade Daniel Norris personally, but you're not going to get really anything for him. But, like, I think they could move him. But beside the point, though, like, you didn't give the guy opportunity. And then after 45 play appearances, you just DFA him. And it's like, right, like, he could have been optioned to Iowa. Like, if you wanted to give him regular at-bats. Like, I know he probably wouldn't have liked that because, like, he's been in the majors, but, like, I'd still rather see that than him getting DFA'd.
I don't know. And he certainly wanted to be here, David.
Yeah, he said.
Rossi basically was like, wow, he was very emotional.
Yeah.
Understandable. It just didn't work out. I don't want to speculate too much. It just seems like there's got to be something else. Either he didn't mesh right. They didn't. I don't know. Obviously, he didn't leave New York on the best of terms.
Right. Hope he goes to the Red Sox. Just becomes a Yankee killer.
God, there's potential there.
Yeah. We just over the last week, we saw him have a few good games, and we were like, get this guy more bats. Like, I just don't understand it. I really don't. Like, if he was playing bad like Hermosillo and, like, the limited chances he was getting, then fine. Whatever. But he had some decent at-bats after coming back from the appendectomy. I can't say it. The appendix, whatever it's called.
He had the appendix taken out.
The appendix taken out. Thank you.
When Suzuki comes back, who will go then? I would have never imagined it would have been Frazier today.
Yeah.
So when some of these guys start to come back, then what? Well, now Madrigal's going to go to the list. Maybe. I shouldn't speculate on that either. But he didn't run to first base very hard, and we were looking like, well, shouldn't that have been a closer play at first base? And then Ryan told us that it's popped up that he left with a groin injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reports out of New York that he left with a groin injury. And that's I don't did you guys realize Simmons was in there like the next half inning? Yeah. I didn't realize it at first, and then I think he like maybe made a play or something that's like basically like, why is Simmons like because I didn't notice the Madrigal like kind of stop short of first base or anything like that. And then all of a sudden I see Simmons, I'm like, okay, something's up. Like there's
I thought he was going to beat out the throw to first when it was hit over
least
there.
Be
and then,
closer, right?
Yeah, he was like halfway down the line. I was like, what's going on there?
As far as like hard contact tonight, he actually had a decent night. He had 2 hits, and then his very first at bat, he actually hit one to the warning track almost. Like he was actually having a decent night, and I was, with the numbers that he has right now, you're looking for anything to like get optimistic about him. It's not been great. We all know it. So then this happens, and now it's just like shit. Like I hope it's nothing too serious. But if he does go back on the IL, then I expect Morel to be at second base a lot more.
Well, between Miley and Madrigal, it's like you can't keep either one of them healthy. But if Morel comes in to start playing more infield, then you have another outfield spot where Frazier could have been playing.
Right, that's true. And now we're gonna have Ortega there, probably. Yeah, it's just
Well, the move, the reason they didn't just send him to Iowa is because of the need to open a 40-man spot. And I'm not saying I understand the DFA move. I'm just saying the understanding of just like the procedural move, I guess. I don't know. Still,
Isaac says, the dude got his average over 240. Listen, man, like I'm not saying that Clint Frazier was going to prove that he belonged to be on this roster, but you sit here, you tell me in the chat, or anyone, try to tell me in the chat that like Jonathan VR or Andrelton Simmons or Jason Heyward deserve to get more playing time than Clint Frazier right now, where this team is. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I think everyone understands that. I'm just reiterating it one more time.
We got Rocco Ganascoli in the chat. Ha ha ha, my Yankees won. Got us.
Isn't that the reliever?
I was going to say that's the guy that was pitching late in the game. Rocco, good to have you. You know what I'm going to need tomorrow? Strava craft coffee, baby. Strava CBD coffee, game changer, has helped thousands of people improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh roasted specialty coffee infused with organic broad-spectrum CBD. CBD from hemp doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer those real benefits that can help you, like feeling alert, focused without the jitters, live your day more balanced with less anxiety, fewer aches and pains. Plus, CBD in your daily routine can even help you enjoy more restful sleep so you wake up feeling your best. And really the best part is Strava is all about quality. Everything is small batch, fresh, and shipped straight to your door. Also offers the concentrated full spectrum CBD tinctures for those looking for a more traditional CBD format with a powerful entourage effect of benefits. CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire purchase using the code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use the code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases. Only one use per customer. And if you already love Strava, here's the deal.
I do love Strava.
You subscribe and save with Strava's Coffee Club. With Strava, you're in control. Save on your favorite coffees. Have them automatically delivered to your home or office on your preferred schedule. Strava Craft Coffee.
Is the
Give it a
Strava
shot.
Coffee Club?
Yeah.
Strava Coffee Club anything like the members lounge? The CHGO members lounge?
Right. Like what if they gave away the velvet robe?
Oh.
With
Get a little coffee, get the velvet robe, just chilling.
Is velvet the same as velour?
I have no idea.
I don't
Different?
know.
I don't
Those
know.
are big
Hold on.
words.
Look
I've
those
never
up.
been high
Velvet and
class
velour,
enough for that.
are they different materials? Are they different fabrics?
I have no idea.
been
Although
hyped up
velvet is
for that.
habitually made from natural silk or cotton, it can come in synthetic blends like velour. So I guess velour is a synthetic type of velvet.
Velvet. It's a type of velvet, velour.
Very interesting.
All right, I got a small update from Maddie Lee. Sometime she tweeted it out on, I guess they talked to Miley. Bear with me, it's a couple tweets, a little long. Wade Miley said he, quote, felt a little something, end quote, in the back of his shoulder on a pitch to Donaldson, the last batter of the third inning. Continued to feel it through the last 4 or 5 pitches in the 8-pitch at bat. Same issue that he just went on the IL for. Quote, it's driving me nuts. I'm the type of person who likes to take the ball every 5 days, and it's like every other year for the past 4 years this has happened, end quote. Said he doesn't know if the short 2020 season, throwing a lot of innings the next year, is part of it. So, not making any predictions for his, I don't know. He says, I also saw a tweet from Megan Montemurro over the Tribune, not quoted, but kind of paraphrased from what Miley said. But Miley said shoulder feels the same as what put him on IL. He didn't want to make any predictions as to whether he'll need to go back on IL. I was about 25 minutes ago, something like that.
Right. Well, if it feels the same as what put him on there, how would he not be going back?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if it doesn't feel as bad. I mean, if he feels he doesn't need 15 days to.
Ryan's not a shoulderologist.
Yeah, I'm not a shoulderologist.
Just not a
Never
shoulderologist.
claimed to be a shoulderologist.
Just like I'm not a velvet velour expert, but apparently Rocco is. He says he only wears velvet and velour, which explains the late Friday night chat appearance here.
Yeah.
He's probably just drinking and has a cigar in one hand down there watching our Cubs show.
Yeah.
Katie says, yeah, felt a little something can mean so many different things for a pitcher for sure.
Just so I don't even know how to feel about it. Like it sucks for him. It sucks for us because like the Cubs aren't going to get anything for him. That's like
it's a bummer because I think they could have picked up a decent prospect.
They could have definitely picked up a decent prospect for him if he'd just been healthy at the beginning of the year. And
Instead,
it's not happening.
Matt Swarmer goes tomorrow, Saturday, 12 innings, 2 earned runs, 11 strikeouts in his 2 appearances. It's been a nice surprise.
Yeah. I know I'm an analytics guy since May 17th, but like all those charts and stuff that Brendan does about Matt Swarmer and the article that him and Ryan did, everyone should go read it on allchgo.com, tells me that Matt Swarmer, I don't know if he's going to be a starter long term, but I do think he could be at least a long relief reliever because that slider bangs.
I heard Brendan saying that, like, if he has a spot on the team, he'd be more likely to be. I think it was Brendan. He was talking about with those just a couple pitches, way more likely to be.
Because he doesn't have like an overpowering fastball, but again, that slider, it does something. So I think as a multiple inning reliever type guy, maybe that could be something. And again, another guy on the another homegrown arm. You know, I'm hopeful for tomorrow, but he has 2 starts under him. There's some tape on him now. We'll see how the Yankees offense looks tomorrow after being dead tonight. So,
Ryan, he's the high release point guy, right? On that slider?
Yeah. Brendan, I think, said he had like the highest release point, like all the way up here from that slider. And that's why it kind of looks like more like a splitter than like, again, I think we got spoiled by like Ethan Roberts, like, and Scott Efros. They don't like the sweeping sliders where you think they just have to fly across the plate, and his just kind of goes straight down. But yeah, it's a little different, but clearly it's a deceptive pitch that major league hitters hadn't looked comfortable against in his first 2 starts. Yankees are the best team in baseball, so it's going to be a test. It's not going to be easy for him, but we'll kind of see where he goes from there. Cody, I'm glad you mentioned. I just realized you said you're an analytics guy since May 17th.
yeah,
It's the same day that Chris Morrell debuted.
I know.
Something there.
That was there's just the start of something special, man.
Exactly, 2 different places.
That's all I can say. Yeah, no, in all seriousness, yeah, I've liked what we've seen out of Schwarmer, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Just hope he doesn't get roughed up tomorrow. Yankees offense is due.
Well, I mean, it took him 13 innings to score 2 runs. Yeah, they're due. By the way, speaking of the Yankees, future Cub Aaron Judge has joined the chat.
Oh, welcome, Aaron.
On YouTube, he says, "Hey, how does a loss feel?" Well, we're fairly used to it at this point, Aaron. It's not.
It's not great, Bob.
What is that? 34 of them?
33, 34. Yeah, 34.
34 of them. But don't worry, you'll get here when all the prospects come up, Aaron. I dump all my money at Aaron Judge. I'd throw cash at him.
He's having a really good year.
He's having a great year. Would I dump all my money on him?
I'd let him be my DH.
If he was okay with being the DH, sure. Why not?
Cap really wants Aaron Judge in Chicago.
Aaron Judge just did a super chat for $1.
Thank
Aaron,
you.
with the kind of coin you're making and going to make, the most you can give us is a $1 super chat.
Yeah.
Not that we don't appreciate it, but that seems a little cheap.
Yeah. Wow.
A $1 super chat.
One whole dollar.
The kind of coin that Aaron Judge, that guy's just laying in cheese.
Yeah. I also don't, I mean, why is Aaron on our show on a Friday night after a victory and living in New York?
Because
Seems
there's
odd.
probably no Yankee show to hop on.
Yeah. We're just different here in Chicago.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no NYRK post game for him to go and jump on.
Not yet. Not yet. There's not. Isaac's doing a $2 super chat, saying we're used to it. So there.
Isaac, thank you.
Yeah.
Isaac
Shout out to
stepping
Isaac.
up.
Hell yeah.
It's getting
Love to see
late.
it.
11:20. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Have we hit on everything?
I think so. We talked about Frazier. We talked about the pitchers that are all hurt. We talked about Rizzo. How about your article, allchgo.com, before we go?
yeah.
Your top 5 Rizzo moments.
Yeah, so
Can you remember what they are?
off the top of my head, we're gonna go number one.
I'll quiz you.
Number one on the list was the final out.
Yeah.
The final out in Game 7 of the World Series 2016. Arguably the greatest day of my life. Number 2 was the tarp catch in 2015.
Yeah.
Number 3 was the 14 pitch at bat in opening day 2.0 last year. The next one was the walk-off homer against the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
After David Bodie tied it up with the 2-run shot in 2018 again. I think it was around late July. And then the last one was Rizzo striking out Freddie Freeman.
Oh, yeah. So, the only thing I'm thinking of that didn't make it, and there were obviously some great Rizzo moments, but what about him challenging the Reds to a fight?
That's in my thread I tweeted out today. I tweeted out like
I saw it got a lot of
them.
hearts.
Yeah, I got a lot of hearts.
Yeah.
It's at the very bottom. Out of just 5, maybe that one deserves to be in there because that's every Cubs fan's favorite thing to talk about. Just because, especially ironically, has Aroldis Chapman in it. But You know, that was kind of like his arrival to being like the leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rizzo was pissed because they were going up and into Sheerholtz.
What'd you say, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. I thought we were going to see Cody throw in Rizzo's homer off Kershaw in there. I think that was the biggest snub on the list.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah. For some reason, and again, this does not go against him, but a lot of my favorite moments of his have all come from like the regular season. So
Aaron Judge just went into the pocketbook and gave us a $5 super chat. Says he's not coming to us.
Well, thanks for the $5, man.
Well, that's $6 we got now,
Hell
so
yeah.
that's good. And as Rocco points out, we could have a blockbuster trade. We could be sending Contreras and David Robertson to the Yankees for all of your top prospects.
It'd be top. Like,
You sent both of those guys, I'd be expecting at least two of their top five prospects.
I would expect a haul. You think a major league player would come with?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't. But if you gave me two of your top five prospects and another one that's just in your top 30, 40, 100% I'd do it.
I guess
that might be aggressive.
I need to start looking at the Yankees' top 30 because I don't really know who's available.
Jason Dominguez. Remember the name.
Jason Dominguez. That's who we're asking for.
Wait, who is wasn't it a Yankees prospect that Joey threw him when you got us on April Fool's Day?
Yes, but we purposely made those the worst prospects we could find. So.
Yeah, right? Like bottom of their top 30 or something like that.
Do you have to bring up my PTSD? Like
terrible.
He still could be traded to the Yankees, guys. It still could happen.
You never know.
It's just months later. All right, so hopefully the Cubs can at least get one in New York. It's not looking super promising after the way that went. Yeah. And now that half the starting rotation is hurt. But other than that,
we're great, guys.
Things are going great, guys. Cubs lose 2-1 in 13 innings. Thanks for watching and listening to the CHGO Cubs Postgame Show presented by PointsBet. For Ryan Herrera, Cody DeMendo, I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. Fly the W when you can. We'll see you next time.